pal? How you doing?
Gotta be honest. Get this one out of the way early. I figured I would set the tone. I want to set the tone early of this podcast because we're a tone-setting podcast.
Good, yes.
This is what we do. And this is maybe the most high hopesian sentence that I think this podcast could ever say.
Am I ready for this?
I actually don't know if you're ready for this. And I wonder if the audience is ready for this. But I'm okay that they're regressing. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to make the needs of this baseball team so obvious that they have to address it. Because like if they kept winning and like there were some things that were going on where it's like, I don't know if that's sustainable. Like then you can excuse it away because the record is so good, and the record's still really good. Like
it's still the best record in baseball, believe it or not.
Which it's so funny because I kept telling myself that, James. I kept saying to myself, they have the best record. They have the best record. Calm down. And then they didn't score for 10 innings, and it all went to hell. It all went to hell. But like the good part about coming back down to earth a little bit is I think it does make it obvious what this team needs, whether that's a bat, which they might need a bat. I mean, in the outfield, I think the number one thing we need right now is probably some kind of outfield bat, and maybe it displaces someone. I'm not sure. But like, it's not the worst thing in the world to have like a comeback to earth. You've built up such a nice cushion to where like, you're gonna make the playoffs barring like the worst collapse we've ever seen in our entire lives. And it's kind of necessary. Like it kind of has to happen, I think, for this team to ultimately reach its highest goal.
Look at you, just setting expectations, setting the bar where it should be, reining everyone in. It's nice, Jack. It's good. I don't know about you. I didn't expect them to set the wins record, so I'm all right moving on from that.
Yep.
No, I think you make a lot of good points.
And you never want to peak too early. We've been over this.
Well, yes, that's true.
I don't want to peak. Yes. You don't want to peak in May, James. You want to peak.
That's true.
In September.
No, you can peak in May. You can be the 98 Yankees and just peak the entire way. Now, that is a fun way to go about it. It does happen.
Since I obviously have no recollection of the 1998 Yankees, unlike
you. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know.
The 2018 Red Sox.
There you go. Red Sox. You love that comp.
I love the 18 Red Sox.
I know, you always did. You loved it in the moment. People can go back and listen to episodes from 2018 of High Hopes. Now, you'd be a sicko for doing it, but I guarantee you, if you go back and listen, you'll hear Jack waxing poetic about the way the 2018 Red Sox were playing baseball all the time, putting the ball in play, got like all that. I have vivid memories of it,
Well, and I was definitely saying that during that time. I was like, I need Dave Nebraska to be my GM.
Oh, we both were. Yeah. I mean, basically since the start of the pod, we were just like, that guy.
Yeah,
get him.
He was our white whale. We had one guy that we had to get on this team.
I mean, the celebration pod when we finally got him is probably pretty great. Don't go back and listen to that one. If you're going to go back and listen to episodes, we'll just tell you it was great. We don't need to listen.
Maybe that's what we'll like. Maybe I know we have Tucker now who's producing this podcast.
Yes.
I think the next thing that we need Tucker to do is, if he's not busy enough, is I need him to go back into the podcast archives, find that podcast, and delete it.
It needs to go away. That's
forever,
for sure.
Forever. Yeah.
Tucker has all of a sudden become the Tucker will do it guy, which is great. It's a good spot to be in, Tucker. I love that for you. I know. By the way, shout out to Miller Lite, of course. This podcast sponsored by Miller Lite, the official sponsor of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller time. Philadelphia, celebrate responsibly. All right, Fritz, let's get into some of the specifics because we could take to start us off. I like you, getting people where they need to be, setting expectations right, and the needs thing's an interesting point. But let's get to the actual series that we talked about. Colorado, that sucked. We moved on. Losing 2-3 again, not ideal. Now they do win yesterday. Obviously, I think the topic of the day is the Harper thing and him freaking out and destroying the bat rack. The poor bat rack didn't do anything wrong. And we've talked about it already. I don't think either of us are, you got to run to first base guys all season long. Like I have no problem with Bryce Harper not running at every ball. I just don't. I want the guy to stay healthy. We just saw our other best player, our other $300 million guy, pull his freaking hamstring. Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm good on that. But I will say, it definitely seems like Harper is frustrated right now in general. I think he's just putting a ton of pressure on himself. It feels like he's coming to this season like the whole team has, with this, win or bust type of mentality, which I appreciate. But I think with Bryce, we've talked about how much he cares about legacy, how much he cares about this year of the game, how much he cares about his own legacy. Like, I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. I think that's a big part of it. What do you make of the Bryce thing that's happening now?
So it took me 2 hours to get home yesterday from the city.
Oh, no. God. This is why you should live in Philadelphia, my friend. I'm just telling you.
I can handle traffic. I'm okay with traffic. Except
I can't. I can't. Just so everyone knows, I cannot.
Really?
Yeah, shocking, right?
Really? But
you would have thought I'd love traffic, right?
Oh, I would have thought you would have been like, oh,
super calm, chill throughout the whole thing.
I would have thought you would be cheering when you see that everyone's slowing down.
Ooh, slowing down is great. I can just chill out, take it easy. I'm not in a rush to go where I'm going ever, so no big deal.
I feel like you are perpetually in a rush.
I'm the worst, dude. There is no worse person to be in traffic with than me. That's part of the reason I live in a city, is so I'm in traffic less. Like, that is an actual factor in my decision making. So yeah.
Yes. So obviously I'm listening to the game, listening to Murph, and by the way, condolences to Scott.
Yeah, big time. I
mean, Bob Fransky was a war vet, 91 years old, and Fransky lost him the other day. So thoughts and prayers to his family, of course. So I'm listening to Murph on the way home, and so like I didn't see the destruction of the bat rack until this morning.
Until after, yeah.
Yeah. So like I did post game, and I talked about it because I thought it was just the jogging to first base thing that people were kind of fired up about. Did not see the destruction of the bat rack until this morning.
Just destroyed it.
Like a full on.
I know. It's like a classic tantrum.
Here's my question. If it's destructed, does he have to pay for it? Like, who pays for that? Like, there's no way the Giants are paying.
My guess is Johnny Middleton's going to pick up that tab for Bryce. I think that's one of those. You could expense that one, Bryce. I think.
Yeah. I would love to know. Do you think Bryce has an expense account? Like where?
Yes, it's called "Do Whatever the Hell You Want," Bryce. Yeah, we got you.
So what I really think, and it's not just been yesterday. It's been this whole season. Where
no doubt.
Like, so. If I had to put my body language doctor eyes on, and again,
that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. And look, we are hypothesizing and we're inferring and all that, but like, we've all watched Bryce Harper the last 5 years as opposed to this year, and he just doesn't look like he's having as much fun out there. I don't think there's any other way to put it.
Yeah, if I hear one more, it's about the contract. I'm like,
oh my God, it drives me crazy, dude. I freaked out on the camera this morning. Like, it drives me like it is there. We had a great Kenan Cinnamonson called up, and he's like, Joe, I would bet my life that when Bryce Harper was taking the bat to the bat rack and destroying it, he wasn't thinking contract, like, enough. Okay.
Well, and it's not like he's playing well. I mean,
he's playing great. He's got like almost 900 OPS. Quietly.
So if I had to read this the way that I think, I just continue to believe there's something up with the back. And it frustrates him when, like, he feels it tense up. And he had the at bat early in the game, and then he was bending down on the throw by Bone.
The throw to first, I thought that Jack, that was
the dugout. He went to the clubhouse.
Went to the clubhouse, and also that was a very gettable baseball. Like, he did not have to stretch that far to get it, and it looked like he just couldn't go further.
Yeah, so I think he's just so I think he feels like the back is robbing him of a god level Bryce year. And I think he wants to win the World Series so bad. He's not going to take himself out of games. And I think when it tightens up, he gets mad. And like, I'm not comparing myself to Bryce Harper, but when like things like that happen to me, I get mad too. Like, my first instinct is to get mad about like why is this happening? And then I think he has to be smart about picking and choosing his spots. So like a ground ball to shortstop, I don't think he's going to fully bust it, but if he has to go first or third, I think he can do it. I think there's some days it feels bad. I think there's some days where he feels fine, and it's something you just have to kind of manage. I just have this. I hope it's not something long term. That's all that I ask for. We know it's a violent swing. You guys kept mentioning Tiger this morning, and I think that's fair. I think that it does remind me of that. But I really just think there's good days and bad days with the back, and I think he gets mad when it tightens up, and you can kind of see him check out of some at bats. But then like he comes through in the what was it, the 8th? He had the extra, he had the hit. So whenever you start being like, oh, then I feel like he always kind of gets a hit. But this happened in Miami, man. Like in Miami that Saturday, he swung and I was like, oh, there it is. There's the back. It gave out, and he went 0 for 5, I believe, even though he smoked the ball in the 9th. I really think it's something with the back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. I think it's the pressure he's putting on himself combined with the back. I don't think we can ignore the fact that to the point we both made, I think Bryce came into this year. And again, of all the players I remember watching in a Phillies uniform in my lifetime, like I don't ever remember a player who so openly cared about legacy, about the history of the game, about his place in the history of the game, about winning a championship here, all these things. Like, I think this guy put so much pressure on himself for this. And I think he came into this year with the whole team feeling this, with John Middleton stepping up in spring training. And, they're talking about the 27 Yankees and all-time greats and all this stuff. And I think Bryce came in and was like, I have to win. Like, I have to win the World Series. There is nothing else that matters in the world to me but winning the World Series. And I think that he's putting so much pressure on himself, and he feels all this pressure to be the guy to do it all the time. And I think that's a hard spot to be in. And I think you combine that with the back. And look, let's be honest. He is a human being. He did just have his 3rd kid. Like, there's probably a lot of stuff going on in his life, man.
There it is.
So I think the back absolutely makes a lot of sense. But I think that because it's even on days where the back it seemingly feel better, when he has big days, like it does look like he is laser focused. It's kind of Hurts like, when we kept saying last year they're 10-1 and Hurts is never smiling, he's never happy. Like, it kind of is a similar feel of the, like, Bryce is so focused on winning that he's just not in it for the frills and the fun right now.
I can see that. I can see that. And I guess the only thing on that where with the pressure thing is he's talked a lot about pressure, and he's like real pressure is what is, providing for your family and all that. And while I do believe that, I do think there is added pressure when you get as close as you did last year, and plus when you are as diehard of a WIP fan as he is, like when you have the added pressure of listening to people like say they got to get it done. I'm sure. I'm sure he kind of wears that.
Well, and that series they had that series in hand. I think that they look at that Rangers team and say we could have won the World Series last year. I think they'd probably look at it and say we should have won the World Series last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure he adds extra pressure to himself when the team's not performing the way they should be. So they're not playing.
And when he's not, when he's going through these 0 for 10s and stuff, like you can see it, like with each at bat, he's like more and more angry at himself.
But that's why I think it's the back too, because we keep waiting for that like 2-week stretch where Harper like is hitting 400, and now his May numbers are really good. I think he's still hitting over 300 in May, even though he got 1 hit in the Giants series. But I keep waiting for that like 6 home run stretch over 2 weeks. And it just seems to me like the back is kind of hampering him from being able to do that. And that I really think it's the back. And I just have this fear that I just hope that it can loosen up and he can kind of get going and put it behind him to where it doesn't become kind of an issue here at all, or he doesn't have to miss time. Seems like they're managing it, but yeah, it's been a lot more of jogging up to first base. And I'd be surprised if all of a sudden it's a big character shift from the guy that we've seen like be Mr. Philadelphia and know how we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, look, and he still threw his body into the freaking well to catch a ball, to try and catch a ball. Like, he's still throwing his body around on defense. It's not like
the most diving stops by first baseman in baseball.
There you go. Like, so it's not like he's not giving it his all when he can. Look, and honestly, I think one of those things, we talk about this a lot, where especially with baseball and especially with the Phillies, like you and I, we watch the package. We try and watch as many games as we can. I'm texting you over the weekend about Royals A's games or whatever the hell I'm watching. Like, I think it was the Royals or A's Rockies extra inning thriller that I was watching last week. What a great game that was. I'm texting you about. But like, I think most Phillies fans watch the Phillies day to day. That's what they watch and that's what they care about. So you get kind of myopic and focus on your team. Like, there are a lot of stars around baseball who don't run out every ball. Like, I'm sorry. I know we all want them to. We all want everyone to be Utley and run to first as hard as they can every time. Like, but like, it's just not the way it works over 162. Like, I'm sorry. It's just part of baseball.
Well, and The unfortunate part about the Utley thing is maybe if he ran 80% on some of
He
those,
might have played longer.
Wow, he played pretty long. He might have had a longer.
Well, you're right. He might have had a longer peak. He might have been more exactly. He did. Yeah, you're right. Utley hung around a lot longer than he probably should have.
Yeah. Well, listen, he's basically a manager on the bench.
True.
I would love to see it. I would love to see Utley as a manager. I mean, I'd just be curious to see how it go. Like it's been so interesting watching him kind of open up more. Like when Utley was here,
it's been fascinating.
Like when he was here, it was don't even look at him. Like he's just so locked in all the time. And now it's like he's Mr. Storyteller. He's the ambassador to baseball to London. It's been cool to see.
It's been wild. It's like a guy who we loved had no personality. Now he's actually showing us a little personality. I mean, that story on with Ruben about trading, that was great. Like that was really like they're gonna kill you. Like I mean, like you're gonna get fired if you trade me. Like it's great stuff. And
no, it's good. You know what else he has too? He has that little he's got that little like confident smirk
thing.
Yeah, it's good. If I could develop a confident smirk, I would like to develop a confident smirk.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you can pull out the confident smirk. But I mean, there's a reason Chase Utley's confident. Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
He's the man. Well,
he's earned that confidence.
I guess if I could still one thing in walk, if it's a good handshake or a confident smirk, I might go good handshake or a confident smirk.
Confident smirk, yeah. I think, dude, confidence. Period. It's key. It's important.
Yeah, you're pretty confident. You're pretty confident.
I'm probably more confident than I should be in certain situations.
Yeah.
I wasn't always though. It's development. I am old, Jack.
I'm not that confident.
No, not as confident. No, but you'll get there. You don't need to. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Seems like it's working out okay.
I'm just me.
You're just that's the title of the Jack Fritz autobiography. I'm just me.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
All right. So let's hope that it's less back and more pressure. But if it is the back, we got to monitor it and hope. And look, if it does come down to him needing to take a little time, like I'd much rather he take time than play through it. I know he doesn't want that, but like if necessary, especially that's why you win a bunch of games early. If you need a little time before the playoffs, like I hope he's willing to take that if that's what's needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I remembered something about the peaking too early conversation.
Ooh,
yeah,
bringing it back.
I know. This is horrible podcasting, and as it's going to contribute absolutely nothing to the conversation.
Good. I mean, well, what else is new?
Total prop. Do people forget that the 2022 team was like horrible until basically until the playoffs? They won one game.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be playing good heading into the postseason.
No, very clearly. We thought they were collapsing. We were like up September again. Like it took till the third to last game of the season. Honestly, what we don't talk about enough is if the Brewers didn't simultaneously play like crap, the Phillies don't make the playoffs. Like the Phillies did enough to blow their spot. The Brewers just didn't let them blow it.
Yeah, well, the Marlins, our guys, went down there and took care of business.
And handled business.
Always love the Marlins.
It is nice. It is nice how the Marlins are now. Like I could go for the, keep the Marlins being the worst team in baseball where they're so bad that they don't even they're not even frisky. You know what I mean?
Sure. The other thing I've been thinking about with like the postseason and how everyone in May likes to say this is going to haunt them in the postseason because of course, okay, this is it. You got it.
Yeah.
And it sounds so dumb and simplistic, but it literally just is baseball. Like the offense could go cold. I mean, they might just not be able to hit for 3 games in a row. We've seen that before.
Like I literally saw it last year.
I understand that watching them in Colorado and in the Giants, I feel like it brought up and brought back a lot of oh my God, this is what sunk them in the postseason last year. It's going to happen again. I mean, it's pretty much going to come down to either they're good or they're not. It's that's it. Are they going to be able to just be fine or not? I don't know if they're going to be hot and cold. It's going to be either they're going to be fine or they're not going to be fine.
100%. And that's what baseball playoffs are. That's why I always say it's chaos, because it is about a team kind of can just get hot for a month and actually win the World Series. The Texas Rangers, a perfect example. We just saw last year. The Phillies almost did it 2 years ago. 100%. I've said it before, and the thing that concerns me the most, and I think we even just saw it. I mean, we see it every time Taijuan Walker's out there. I mean, should have been out in the 4th inning. They're up 4-3. Like, do you want to win the baseball game or not? You left him out there. My concern for something we're seeing in the regular season that we've seen both the last postseasons, that if we're talking about something that I think is a real concern now for the playoffs, it's Topper trusting his guys too much. It's the fact that Nick Castellanos is still out there every single day. Like, and I know a bad day to do it. I feel like whenever either we rip Cassie and then he goes out and has a good game, or we're coming off like the one good game he's had in the last 3 weeks. But like, I think Cassie is what he is at this point. But I think that is an example of the what I think, if we're being honest, could screw them at the end of the season. If you're looking for something that could be a real worry, it's Topper leaving, and it's not going to be Taijuan in the playoffs, but Topper leaving Taijuan in too long because he trusts him. It's Topper leaving Castellanos in every single day. If Castellanos is struggling like he's been in the playoffs, like, you have to be willing to pinch hit for him in the 9th inning of a game. You have to be willing to sit him potentially if Edmundo Sosa is raking and you can whatever. Like, the point is that I do think that if you want to talk about something now, I agree with you. Like, the bat's going cold, that's either going to happen or it's not. But Topper trusting someone in a spot he shouldn't, that could be a concern.
So I have a Taijuan theory.
Ooh, good. Can't wait.
I think this is payback for the tweets on the offseason.
Oh, he's like letting him die out there?
Yeah, go get it. You want it? Go.
Oh, so I thought Spike had a wild theory too on the show, on your show, the afternoon show, where he's like, this is Topper saying to Dombrowski in the front office, fine, you want to keep this guy here? I'll roll him out there. I'll show you how bad he is. I don't think that's it, but like,
I mean, let's put
it this way. It makes as much sense as trusting Taijuan to go back out there in that game, in that spot multiple times. Like, what do you think it really is with the like? These are like, maybe it's that, but do you think is it just, all right, I'm getting innings out of the guy? Is it, we have such a good record, I don't need to win every game, I'm not going to play to win every game? But like, in that game, they're up 4-3. They take the lead back after Taijuan gives up the 3. Down 3-0. You fight back. You take the lead. And you have a completely fresh bullpen. Like, it made no sense. And instead, the next day, where you could have just brought Turnbull in, if you'd used your bullpen the day before, you get the start that you get out of Sanchez, which, by the way, shout out to Sanchez. Didn't realize his first start without giving up a run all year. He was awesome yesterday. Sanchez, the stopper, baby. But like, then you wasn't the whole idea Turnbull's going to pitch 3 innings at a time or whatever? Like, it has not made it, especially the Taijuan thing and the way he's managed the bullpen around Taijuan. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Which is why the theory. I mean, seriously.
It's a good theory. No, it's a good theory. It
like,
is.
Just okay. You think you should have been in the playoff rotation? Like, go get.
Show me, buddy.
Yeah. Show me. Like, you want to earn it? Go earn it. Like, I'm giving you the opportunity to go earn it. And I think they're trying to make it abundantly clear that you haven't earned it. And the funniest, you want a good Taijuan stat?
Sure. I can't wait.
Hitters are hitting 515 off of his splitter.
What?
With a 758 slugging percentage.
What? So why is he throwing a splitter? What are we doing here?
Well, don't throw it. It was good last year. It's just
it was good last year.
Dude, he had
wow.
They hit 205 against it last year. They're hitting
515 is, that's unreal, man. I mean, that's hard to believe.
Well, he's like he is second in barrel percentage in baseball. He's like top 10 in all like the hard.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's been, which Sanchez, by the way, the other end of that. Sanchez does not give up hard contact at all. It's been impressive.
I don't know if you looked it up, but off the top of your head, do you know what Sanchez's ERA is?
I saw earlier. It's like it's in the 2s, like 2.83 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, think about that. I mean, it's phenomenal.
That's your fifth starter.
3-1 strikeout to walk rate. I mean, he's been great, especially the walks. Like, he's curtailed that in a big way, and that was a massive issue for him in the past.
Well, the fun part about Sanchez, like when Sanchez gets on a roll and he finds,
he's dope to watch, man. He is dope to watch.
When there was in the 6th, 7th, he was getting that fastball to like 97.
Yeah, and then when he throws that change with it, man,
unhittable.
I feel like he has more batters swing over balls than any Phillies pitcher I remember. It's just every time.
So if he's going to turn back in, if he can hold his command and turn back into a 97 mile an hour Chris Sanchez, like I'm starting to get excited about like 2 years from now, Sanchez, when he really finds it. Like he's already good now, but it feels like he has spots where he loses command for a couple starts, like he did like 5 starts ago. Like when he finds that command and he's hit 97 and he can figure out how to hold runners and all that stuff. It's a good pitcher. It's a good pitcher in there. I'm in on Sanchez, dude.
Am I. Fully in. Guys,
dude, they have 4 starters that are really good.
Yeah.
And like Andrew Painter, the number 1 pitching prospect before Paul Skeens existed, is still coming. Like like Sanchez might be the 5 next year, and like Painter, if he lives up to the hype, has the potential to be a 1. But it's just like it's ridiculous how good this starting staff is on paper.
Yeah, it's why when we talk about concerns and stuff like that and the bats going cold and Topper leaving guys in too long, it's what I keep coming back to as like my constant. It's like, no, you know what? They're going to be okay because they have those 4 dudes. And when you go into a playoff series, you've got those 4 guys starting games, and especially those top 3 for the most part. Like, it's such a massive, massive thing. And especially with these guys all having playoff experience, all understanding what it takes. Like, the pitching outside of Taiwan continues. And the bullpen, by the way, looked great again yesterday.
Oh,
Sir Anthony Dominguez looking pretty good, man. He's great. Ever since you said it, credit where due, he's been lights out.
Oh, that's why I have the high hope safe space.
That's right.
Come in
I know.
Give opinions where I think he's going to be okay.
If it holds, like if he's just back, if he has figured it out, dude. I mean, that changes the whole complex. I mean, we talked about it. You don't need a right-handed arm anymore. Like, it changes so many things. Like, all of a sudden, whew.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why I'm not too like upset or worried about the current dip they're in, is because it's not like I kind of expected the offense to go cold here a little bit. I know last podcast I was like all in on this is who they are now. Like they're consistent, but like you could always kind of feel it coming. Like the fact that it's not like the rotation now is getting lit up and the bullpen's now getting lit up. Like I think that's just better. Like it would be more off character than the offense going cold for a couple games. Now, some bullpen thoughts.
Real quick, it's very funny that we keep talking about this this huge slide that they're on, and they went 2-4 on a West Coast trip, and we're talking like they got swept out there. It's
over.
Go ahead.
It's over. So Sir Anthony does look good, but I think the guy that I'm more in on after this week, and I think he is starting to really, really assert himself as someone who deserves high leverage spots, is Kerkering.
Yeah, he looked awesome,
dude. He finally has confidence in the fastball. I mean, I think when he came up, he's like, "Oh, my sweeper's so nasty. Like these guys won't be able to hit it," and they are. I mean, they're major leaguers, and I think that he didn't have the confidence that he'd be able to blow 98 pass guys. And I think what's happened in the last 2 week and a half is he's like, okay, I know how to get my fastball by bats or spotted on the outside corners to righties, to where they're not going to crush it, because if he it's not a great fastball. He throws hard, but I think it's a hittable 98, which I know is funny to say. Yeah, but I think it's a hittable 98. He's added some sink to it. He's getting it off barrels. He's still throwing it hard. He's throwing strikes with it, and you kind of see the moxie starting to come through. You're seeing the Kerkering moxie start to show here a little bit, and I think that's massive. So when you have Hoffman on in game 2, just getting out of that spot, first and second, no outs, and just like stones. You Kerkering stones. Sir Anthony showing some stones. Jose Ruiz, always Jose Ruiz. Like, I feel much better about where we are with the right-handed bullpen options than I did like 2 weeks ago.
All right, before we get to the take bag and before we get to your inevitable draft talk, which in case you didn't see Jack's tweet, get ready for draft talk. Apparently, as I said, I can wait. Yeah, that thrilled about the draft talk coming our way. Oh my goodness! Now I totally forgot what I was going to say. As I'm late, the draft talk totally psyched me out.
Good.
As I'm talking, I know. Anyway, let's get to the take bag. Here we go.
Okay. How about Schwarber, man? I mean, Schwarber in May is hitting over 300.
It's got a 370 OBP or 368 or something like that.
If you told me Kyle Schwarber was going to hit over 300 in a month at any point for the rest of his Phillies career, I would have said you were crazy. I would have said you have no idea what you're talking about. That is not possible. But yesterday I thought was another kind of like things are shaky. How are we going to pull ourselves out of it? And bang, there's a leadoff Schwarbomb. He was the first guy, it seemed like, out of the dugout.
They needed that yesterday. I agree.
Yeah, like he's just, he's done that. Like he's done that ever since he's been a Philly. Is like when they needed him, he's there to kind of calm everyone down. So I think Schwarber's been really good, and he's been hitting more singles, which is fine. I hope that makes everyone happy. It was good to see him mix in some home runs yesterday.
I remember what I was going to say, getting back to it. And it is my fault, delinquency 30 minutes into the pod or whatever. Do you want to address the Spencer Howard thing? You know, you're still here. Oh no, are we having technical difficulties? Can you not hear me?
Oh,
we're back? Okay. So surprising that was the timing for it. Do you want to address the Spencer Howard thing? Because you are here right now.
Oh, right.
I mean, it is something that should be addressed.
It was really tough to go through. It was really tough to go through. He sucks, dude. He sucks. He sucks like so much.
It was the most of course thing that ever happened.
Dude, the fact
There's
that
no way I'll quit the pod for no hitting it.
Oh, it's sickening. It was absolutely sickening. And to have like Eric Miller start the game too.
I know.
Like, where's Carson Ragsdale? Where's Carson Ragsdale to come in and just add some, pour some salt in the wound? Spence, I think that they were waiting for Spencer Howard, and every single one of them was trying to hit the ball 700.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
He sucks. He 100% sucks. It was like game 2 was one of the worst baseball games I've seen in my entire life. It really was. Like I couldn't have hated a baseball game more than game 2 of the Giants. 9:45 at night. You're sitting there like 11:30, just stewing about them getting shut down by Spencer Howard. It was sickening. It was absolutely sickening. So I'm here. I was never gonna quit the podcast. I will stop.
That was a very, very not a true threat there.
Should probably stop saying I'm gonna quit the podcast. But it's more just to lay the gauntlet down and let everyone know that things are serious.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Stakes.
To keep the chip on the shoulder of the team, saying if you ever get shut down by Spencer Howard again, don't ever.
You might quit the podcast to do it again.
He is awful, like truly awful. But like Castellanos missing 94 miles an hour right down the middle from Spencer Howard. How do you do that? How do you do that? But Cassie's back, and Cassie's heating up.
Okay. Yes.
Many say June Cassie.
Shout out to our buddy BLG, who is every time Cassie has the good night once every 3 weeks, we'll get a text from BLG, who is Cassie's biggest supporter.
Yeah, always saying, "Don't worry about him." Don't worry about him.
It's like it's got it. Just let Cassie be Cassie, baby.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It really dynamite production from center field, right field, and
it is pretty wild. A lot of people have been pointing to that lately, and it's funny because we point to all these things like the peaking too early in the schedule, which, by the way, the Phillies now have the best record against above 500 baseball teams in the league. No big deal. Yeah. But it's always these things. The new one has been, how can they win with an outfield? It's like this. It's like, well, I don't know. They're 39-18, so it seems like they're kind of winning with an outfield like this. But it is stunning. I don't think I ever remember this good a team with this bad a hitting outfield. Like, it's pretty wild. I mean, now granted, the reason is because you have the best hitting first baseman, a top 3 hitting second baseman, a top hitting shortstop. Even with the Mundo Sosa out there, you got a top hitting third baseman, like top hitting catcher. That's the way it works. But it is stunning. It is pretty stunning to watch. Yeah.
I hope that Pat Burrell is ashamed of himself.
Oh, could you believe it?
Hey, who do you think you are? Are you a Philly or are you a Giant?
I think he told us. I think he told us who he is. Yeah, it's outrageous. You were with the Giants for a second. Like, come on.
Like, it's just, you think you know a guy.
You do. It's right.
So I said this last night on the Final Out, but it reminded me of when you remember when Kuroda went after Victorino
Oh
and
yeah, sure.
bench just cleared, and like Boa was the first guy out, like charging hard at the scrum. It's like, hold on, Bo.
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah,
rein the bell in.
we know who you are. And I think Buzz pointed this out. It was funny that for a period, like I didn't understand the Lopes thing at that point, like in 08.
Oh yeah, sure.
But it's so funny that
he was
Boa.
the first. I know, it was hilarious. I've heard Boa talk about that before too. How odd it was that they were on the other side of the rivalry now, like that as the coaches. It was very funny.
Oh, yeah. It was so weird. So, Pat Burrell, don't appreciate that, and you are a Philly, and just remember that. Just remember that.
Yeah. Here's what I don't want to say, Pat. I don't want to say you were a Philly.
Right.
Okay. I want to say you are a Philly.
And
okay?
I want to still have the great memories of you started the parade down Broad. You know
what I
mean?
You got that one hit that really mattered, buddy. The one
you might have the lowest batting average in the history of the World Series for qualified hitters, but it's okay. You won in your entire career. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
You
have one of the biggest hits in the history, arguably the biggest hit in the history of World Series games that got interrupted in the middle and suspended to 2 days later. I mean, you're the guy.
He's the one. He's the one. So just calm down, Pat. You're our guy. I did like that Schwarber was ready to go though. Schwarber was ready to throw hands.
Yeah,
can we just get listen? I hope no one gets hurt. Can we have like a real baseball brawl? Like I want to see.
I'm so with you. I was ready for it. I was psyched, man. Yeah,
I'm sure you seem like a top step guy.
I'm a top step guy. I'm a foxhole guy.
If we ever had an Anchorman when all the stations come together.
Oh yeah, it's the best scene in the movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, like that. If we had a WIP thing like that,
I killed the guy with a trident. Yeah. Oh, you know I would be. I got like that, like the quick twitch. I'm ready to fight immediately.
You know where I'd be?
Yeah, you'd be at the back. You'd be the guy in the back. Be like, get him.
Yeah, no, I'd be at a local.
You and the camera back there in the back, egging everyone on.
No, I'd be like, you guys. Yeah. You guys you'll be all right.
I'm on the bottom of the pile with like 30 guys on top of me trying to fight my way out.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Yeah. No, it'd be good. You're
like a bulldog. I might bite people out there. I've done it before,
I know. Yeah. So, I've actually been, thinking a lot about the trade deadline. And
I'm shocked.
Dude, there's just I don't know what the bat is. I don't know what the bat is. So I wrote down some early names here. Like Brett Rooker. No one knows him, but he's been really good.
I love Brett Rooker just in general. I don't know if you've seen his Twitter at all. He seems like an awesome guy, and I like the way he talks about the game. I like the way he likes advanced stats, but isn't too over the top with it. I'm a Rooker guy. I like Brent Rooker. I think people would like him if he were here.
Listen. They gotta find. I don't think they'll trade him, but they gotta find a way to get Veerling back.
He's been on fire. He got 3 homers in the last 3 days or whatever.
He took Skeen's yard yesterday, dude.
I know.
And he's playing center field. Bring back Matty V, man. He's a 2022 pennant winner with the Phils. And we got Gregory Soto for him, and somehow he might have lost that trade, which is...
Yeah. Well, I don't know, though, because you remember the other part we got back in that trade. Cody Clemens. So, just saying.
Okay. That's not
play him all over the diamond, buddy. Who knew?
I just could really use Veerling back. Just bring me
What about Tyler O'Neill? That's a name you've brought up throughout the years. I'm surprised you're not going there quickly. You just don't think he'll get moved.
Well, you jumped my sheet here.
There we go. All right.
Now he's been banged up.
When we pod too much together.
He's been banged up, but yes, I'm interested in Tyler O'Neill. Also,
I figured.
Also, it's not a sexy name at all. But if Rob Refsnyder could be a Philly, I would be over the moon.
It's literally not a sexy name for a trade target. It is the worst name of all. What a hard.
That's not true.
It even looks ugly when written. Refsnyder is horrendous.
Yeah, and then you see what he does against lefties, and you're like,
sure.
Right, well,
I mean, you are the originator of the name test. Anyone else who tries to claim name test superiority, does not know about the counterpoint pod, does not know how long this goes back. I mean, Rob Refsnyder is a F- on the name test chart.
By the way, I've ran into like 2 counterpoint listeners in the last like 2 weeks.
Really?
Which is hilarious to me.
It's absurd. Yeah.
Given how I currently talk about the Eagles versus how I used to talk about the Eagles. A lot of change. Winning. Let me just put this out there.
Yeah.
Again, this is a high hope safe space for me.
Yeah.
Them winning the Super Bowl was the worst thing for my Eagles. And it's not that I didn't want them to win the Super Bowl. Like I wanted them to win the Super Bowl.
You are one of a kind, buddy.
I cared so much about them winning the Super Bowl that now it's just like,
I will. I'm not to your level of this, but I get a little of that. Like I do get it's just
the
like
edge. It's the edge that got.
And it's almost just like no matter what happens, like for the Eagles, it'll never be that. Like that was it. That was the peak. That was the pinnacle. Like it will never get better than that. I agree with that. Actually,
it's hard for me to bounce. It's hard for me to bounce.
Not a bad take. Yeah, decent take. Better than I expected going in.
By the way, Rob Refsnyder against lefties this year.
Yes,
343 with a 911 OPS.
Wow, I'd like him a lot if his name were Rob Snyder. Just get rid of the ref.
Nah, I'm in on Refsnyder. 1,000 OPS against righties. So he's Rob Refsnyder's had a good year. Tommy Pham for the perpetual trade.
Oh, let's go. Tommy Pham. It wouldn't be a trade target list if Tommy Pham weren't on it.
Yeah, welcome back, Tommy. Yeah, come on. Mark Canha, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's actually had a good year.
It makes a ton of sense. Like of all, like in terms of someone who I think will get traded or very much likely could get traded, who just fits kind of everything we're talking about. It's such an unsexy name. But Mark Canha or Canha, whatever, Canha, I think it's just Canha.
I think it's Canha.
It's a great name. Like it's a perfect type of name.
And like they were obsessed with the patient righty. Mm-hmm. He's a 360 OBP right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be a Philly. Whatever.
Can move around a little bit if you need it. Yeah.
And then the name that I would love to be like pushing the trade for this guy movement, but I don't feel it. Is Luis Robert. Who?
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel you. It's like it just feels like too much. It feels like, first of all, you'd probably have to give up a ton to get him. Still,
3.5 years left.
Yeah, I think you'd have to give up a lot to get him. He's obviously got the highest ceiling of the guys you talked about by miles. But yeah, it feels like it's not what they need. Like they don't need someone who's coming in who should be playing every day. You know, they need someone who they can come in and play when they need him and pinch hit and all that. Like I don't think they need to trade for a starting outfielder.
Unless, if you're looking for a center fielder that could hit.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like if they trade for Luis Robert, I will be like in. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I don't expect that to happen.
Me either. It's such a huge swing. I guess the reason I would be the most in, or the reason why I would be, the thing I talk myself into the most is just getting him out of Chicago. And like it's such a horrible franchise to be a part of. Like,
dumpster fire.
Like being able to rejuvenate yourself,
totally.
And like get the real Luis Robert, who the only issue
is a stud.
His hips might be like cooked guts. I mean,
yeah, well that'd be a shame.
Yeah. So
that 1 year, when they were good, he was freaking awesome that year.
Dude, he had 38 home runs last year.
Yeah. Yeah, we hit 38 last year. Wow.
Yeah, he's good, man.
He's good.
So that's just my and obviously Trout. Well, Taylor Ward's the bat that I really want. Like
Taylor Ward, buddy. Own him in fantasy.
Good player.
Yeah, I would be very fine with Tyler Ward. And that's another play every day guy.
And this, I'm ashamed of myself for even saying this because of how much he bothers me and how I don't think he's ever been good, but has been on a bunch of teams. I could use a little Kevin PR in my life.
Oh no, we're done.
Before the Braves do.
He's Kevin gonna be a Brave. Yeah.
Kevin Pillar, he's been hot. He's been hot. And then final thing before a quick draft thoughts. How about
I like how you throw that in to make sure we don't forget about the draft thoughts.
How about the Mets, dude?
Oh, it's amazing. What are they, 7-17 in May, I believe?
Well, and the Jorge Lopez thing yesterday.
Oh, dude.
One of the
worst team in baseball. Like,
I'm on the worst team in baseball.
I said I'm on the worst team in baseball. I threw his glove into the stands and got cut. I think he wanted to get cut too. I think he hated.
What gave that away? What gave that away? Was it when he threw his glove and then said after the game,
I'm on the worst team in baseball?
Really? Yeah, it's a big take.
It has been also like the numbers. The Mets, I believe it's something like 9 games they've led after 7 innings and lost. I think the next most is like 4 or something. They have been. I mean, Edwin Diaz now on the IL, but obviously a potential like career-ending season the way he's been pitching. It's really falling apart. It's great. Stevie Cohen. You know what's crazy too? I know we talk about it, but I just saw a list of all the owners in baseball and what they do, like for their jobs and how much they're worth. He's worth like 3 times as much as any owner in baseball. Like the next highest, richest owner has like 3 times less money than Cohen, much less everyone else. It's wild how much richer he is than everyone else.
No, it's insane. And I was so worried about Steve Cohen. He has been. It hasn't been a problem at all.
Like, yeah, I think you could say that. Yeah,
like at all. And then all right.
Quickly before we get to the draft thoughts, shout out to the Miller Lite account of the week, Blue Dog. Love Blue Dog. Today's show is sponsored by Miller Lite and the Blue Dog Pub in Lansdale. Check out the Blue Dog for every Phillies game and enjoy their famous $2.99 Miller Lite 22 ounces. That's a great deal. Along with their quintuple grilled cheese sandwich.
Whoa.
How about that? Miller Lites for Phillies win. Celebrate responsibly. All right. Do your thing, buddy. I'm going to just check out.
And you're lucky. I really have to go to the bathroom because
good.
Because this would be much longer. So my bladder is I mean, it's been a lot of water today for sure. So let's get through this. So full disclosure, I have been like checked out on the draft, like slowly been, working my way into it. And then last night I couldn't stop thinking about the draft and I was staying up till 12 watching the All-American Classic from last year. So
of course you were.
And then I found my guy and I have not been able to stop thinking about him in a Phillies uniform on draft night. So Draft Jack is here. And
thank God. Everyone's really worried. The Phillies have the best record in baseball, but people were thinking there's not enough draft talk on the hype spot.
Well, it's about to be June, so we are a month away from the draft. So very exciting stuff. Okay, with all that said, with the 27th pick, which by the way they got Aiden Miller at, which by the way, how did he fall to 27?
I know, it makes no sense.
He's the most doubles in the league down there. He hit a grand slam in the 9th last night. He is leading the league in OPS. Stud. The next Gunner, but whatever. By the way, Gunnar Henderson has 50 home runs already, and he's 22.
Oh, Gunnar Henderson is a freaking stud, dude. I love him.
With the 27th pick in the 2024 MLB draft, the Philadelphia Phillies will select PJ Morlando, a first baseman / outfielder. I could use a corner bat. I could use a first baseman. He is a vintage Philly because he is the former #1 perfect game prospect in the country.
Buddy.
Just like Painter was, and then there was like fatigue. Just like Aiden Miller was high up, and then there's fatigue. Like some guys just around so long that you have some fatigue with them. I think that's what's happening to this kid because, and also like it's not like he's a sexy shortstop, center field guy. He's a corner bat. Like that's what he is. They need that in the system. They need some power in the system. They need some arms. They need a catcher. I hear all that. But it's just, he feels like a Philly. He won the home run derby just like Aiden Miller did. Like, he just screams Philly. And his favorite player is Bryce Harper. He talks about how he plays the same kind of edge as Bryce.
So is he a college kid, high school kid?
We only draft high school kids in the first round.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. No, he is.
Is he right-handed or left-handed?
He's a left-handed hitter that would hit. He's gonna hit 40 home runs here.
Bombs.
I mean, he is.
So Pete Morlando is like Orlando
PJ.
With an M.
PJ Morlando.
PJ Moore. Okay, PJ. I like PJ. I can get it on PJ.
He's a barrel finder. I think he struck out once in the perfect game circuit last year, and it was in the All-American Classic. Like, guy's a stud. So,
PJ Morlando.
Come on down.
Go.
I got more names. I got more names, but I will spare everyone.
We know, buddy. We know. When the draft gets closer, we know. We will dedicate a portion of the pod to you just rattling off names and describing people we've never heard of and most likely we'll never care about. It'll be great.
PJ Morlando.
Okay, good. Beautiful. Go to the bathroom. Cardinals this weekend, so that'll be fun. Should be able to handle business. Back home for 6 before heading to London.
I feel like Nola shoves against the Cardinals.
I feel like he does too.
What is are we gonna podcast from London?
I don't know. I mean, we got to make something happen, right?
All I know is I have to do leading off Sunday morning at 8 a.m. So
that's fun. All I know is I get to do my radio show at 11 in the morning instead of 6 in the morning. So you know what? Freaking psyched, buddy.
Yeah. Say hi to Dave Shaw and Chase Utley for me.
I'm sure you know I will, buddy. Dave and I have already been texting. Can't wait. It'll be awesome.
And if you see Hamels, can you tell him like thanks for the help with the camp back when I was like in a freshman year in high school?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
I'll tell him, hey,
and sorry for
if I get like a sentence or two to Cole Hamels, which is probably what it would be, like, hey, Cole, blank.
Yeah.
That's what I'll use it for.
And if you could apologize for me chasing him around the Westchester Giant when I was in middle school. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
I was in Giant, a grocery store in Westchester, and he walked in, and I was just dashing in between.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah. Yep. So if you could do those two things for me, I appreciate that.
All over it, buddy.
Yeah.
Consider it done.
And ask him why they're giving away the 09.
You're pushing. Yeah, well, yeah, that's actually what I'll do. You're pushing your luck there with requests, but we'll go with it. All right. Obviously, we'll be back before I go to London because they got a series this weekend. We'll be back Sunday, Monday, something like that. We'll figure it out. That's all we got. PJ Morlando. Write it down in pen. He's Fritz himself.